Hey, good day, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. We have the Santa Clarita Insider Show. We have a great guest. Tim and I are bringing on another Tim Slominski. He's with, of course, Draper Kramer Mortage Corporation, a President's Club member and a loan officer. Been at this a very long time. Good friend of the show here. Want to bring him on to discuss some of the things that maybe you don't even know what to ask for with regard to lending, and also maybe bringing some of the truth to the forefront. How are you both doing today? So glad to see you both.
Wonderful.
Good morning, Connor. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well, my friend. So, Tim, thank you so much for coming on. I know we have a lot of great questions. We're going to have a lot of people tuning into the show. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much. I really look forward to it.
Perfect. So let's get into this. So you've been in lending for quite a while. Give us a little background, please. Catch us up to kind of where you are, what you're doing slowly.
Well, I've done all facets of lending. I started in 1980 in the automotive industry, from the automotive industry to the RV industry. And then in 2000, I got into the mortgage industry. So I've seen every kind of recession that we've gone through and so many different things.
It's a long time. You've seen a lot. I know I've been doing this since 98. Tim on the show's got a background in it as well. The real estate end of it, at least both of us do. So wanted to talk about that. So one of the things out there, there's all these different programs, a lot of people, trying to buy houses with these interest rate fluxes, the higher interest rates, which I guess historically aren't bad. They're actually a lot lower than they have been on average since interest rate records were kept. Is that right?
Yes.
So that being the case, a lot of people are very concerned with, getting these different types of financing. There's a lot of different programs out there. Are there any out there maybe people need to watch out for? I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but I know that there's a program called the 3-2-1 buy down that Tim and I have even talked about on the show, that other people have out there, lenders, and they're offering it like it's, the best thing since sliced bread. Right. What can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's not for everybody. And here is the thing on the 3-2-1 buy down. It is a participation agreement between the seller. So the seller has to agree to pay for the 3-2-1 buy down. What that means is that the first year, the interest rate is 2% lower than the initial start rate. From qualification purposes, though, you're still qualifying at the initial interest rate. So let's say it's a 5.5% loan. Your qualification is at 5.5%. So if we have the seller paying that fee, and that fee goes to reducing the payment over the 2-year period, again, keeping the same initial interest rate for qualification purposes, my recommendation is, well, if they're going to do that, let's get them to pay the points to buy the interest rate down, rather than doing the 3-2-1 buy down, because each year on the 3-2-1, the payment's going to go up, rather than having a lower payment up front on a standard conventional 30-year fixed rate product. But if you are going to do it, it has to make sense. I did one recently for a client. They had a $170,000 loan. Well, on a $170,000 loan, it wasn't significant, and it was very confusing to the client because they didn't fully understand what was being sold to them, even after I educated them. Mm-hmm. So my personal opinion is, if you're going to pay points, you're going to get the seller to contribute, get the interest rate lower.
I see. Very, very good. Starting out that way instead of going into this program.
Correct. Now, if they are in the program and they do refinance, the funds that are still sitting in that account in the 3-2-1 buy down get refunded to the consumer. So there is a plus to that.
Interesting.
Well, I just hope everybody explains. Tim and I, we always talk about, all the scams going on out there, and people just don't have enough explained to them. I mean, sometimes it's too much information. But at least, let me know how I'm going to get taken. Just explain it to me so I know.
Hey, Tim, Did I understand that right? You think better than the 3-2-1 is just to have it bought down entirely during the entire course of the loan? Is that what I understood?
Sure. Correct.
Okay.
So, with the way the market is right now, all we're really doing for the consumer is setting them up for a refinance. Rates will come down. I don't think we'll ever see what we saw in the last 2 years, but at the same time, let's get them into the house. Let's get them the lowest payment possible with the least amount of money out of their pocket. Then what we do is, in partnership, we as the realtors and the loan officers are constantly in front of the client and educating them as to what is going to be the best thing for them.
And are they doing this because you can get a better effect on your payment, adjusting the interest rate versus a better price on the home? How does that work?
Well, my feeling on that is, okay, in real dollars, if we're asking for a discount on the home, the correlation of that is you're better off to take the credit towards closing costs, because that's real dollars. And if you're going to reduce the interest rate, let's say 1/4%, you're also going to be able to qualify them for a higher priced home. So again, if you're doing the 3-2-1 buy down, you're going to qualify them at the start rate rather than the lower rate that you would by getting a seller credit towards points. So higher qualification, so they'll be able to buy more home, and at the same time, they'll actually be able to have a lower payment.
It was kind of, Tim, it was kind of more of it was like a presentation for us by different lenders. They kind of came into the office, and this was one way to try to get the seller to maybe see that you have more tools to offer. Instead of maybe them discounting their house 30 or 40,000, you say, hey, for 15 grand, if you kind of give that to the buyer, that gives them this 3-2-1 buy down, then you get to attach that with a lender, a specific lender that does that product and really loves it. So I think it was sold more as and I think what Tim's saying with the just buy your interest rate down, don't gamble, don't do the 3-2-1, all that. Just say, hey, seller, can you buy this down? What does that cost? And I don't know, is that a big difference, Tim? I know there's a lot of variables in buying down an interest rate, but is there any way you can put a number on that, or it depends totally on FICO score? And
it's FICO driven. It's loan to value driven. So, and the other thing that's going on right now is what is called they were talking about the doom and gloom that's hitting May 1st about the loan level price agreements. These have already been factored into interest rates for most banks. So we're going to be still having a stable market in loan rates. What we hope for in our industry is a bad day in the stock market, which means there's going to be more money put into mortgage-backed securities, so we have lower interest rates. But getting back to your question is, in my opinion, what is best for the client? I would say if the seller is willing to contribute, let's use that towards outlay, because most people don't have an extra $15,000 to $20,000 towards closing costs. They're maxing out what they have right now to get into the home. So the seller's willing to contribute. It's still the same thing. If the 3-2-1 or it's going to be your contribution, it's the same thing. It's just a matter of delivery.
That makes a lot of sense. It really does. That's something that really, I think, needs to be clarified, case by case, and everybody should know kind of what they're getting into before they do accept this kind of a program. The other question I had, I know Tim's got a bunch of stuff for you too. As far as the Fed rate goes, I know that we talk about, whenever we hear this on the news and people hear it, they say, oh my gosh, the Fed is going to increase or decrease rates. So that's what they hear. But that doesn't necessarily correlate to that interest rate being raised. Doesn't sometimes, or most of the time, that's the rate the banks trade and borrow money back and forth? Is
Correct.
that what they talk about? And then how does that impact what a person might get from you?
Well, first of all, the Fed funds rates are overnight lending to banks. What does that mean to a consumer? If you take a look at your credit card statement, your credit card statements right now, most of the credit cards that are out there have a start rate of 24 to 29%. So as the Fed is increasing the rate, guess what? Your interest rate on your card's going up. What does that mean to you? Your payment's going up. Now, when the Fed makes a move, usually it's anticipated as far as what they're going to do. Well, this year, the last year and a half, the Fed has really, between Janet Yellen and our Fed chair, they're not on the same page. So we have had increases in rates that were not expected. So when that happens, it affects the mortgage market. So we buy in mortgage-backed securities. We don't buy from the Federal Reserve. So mortgage-backed securities are affected. So if they do something that is not expected, everybody's pulling their money out of mortgage-backed securities and they're going into the stock market. So it's a matter of where they're moving money from.
Very good. That's clear. That makes a lot of sense. That clears
Tim,
that up,
does
definitely.
it seems like there's you had mentioned the date of May 1st that there's some changes, and I think I gave you a little bit of heads up on this before, but is this coinciding with that Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac changes that are taking effect May 1st with I guess it's the interest rates being adjusted for people with good credit versus bad credit?
It's called loan level price agreements or pricing.
I just want to share. This is what I pulled up just to share with what we're talking about here, and I'll leave this up if this is helpful.
Well, it in regards to that, there's a matrix that goes along with it. This is the doom and gloom, marketing piece of many loan officers right now. Interest rates are going to go up. Well, first of all, that effective rate is not May 1st. It's been pushed back to April 1st. That's not being publicized right now. Secondly, most banks, mortgage bankers such as Draper and Kramer, have already priced that into our rates. So we've already agreed to that. If in this particular scenario, when I read the matrix, it hits the consumer that has a high FICO score with a low down payment. So the person that has a 740 plus credit score is usually doing an 80% loan to value. The person with the 620 is usually doing a 95 to 97.5% loan to value. So it's not hitting them as hard as it would the consumer that has a higher score with less down payment. But that is being priced into our rates currently.
So the way this reads when you watch the news is it's reading as if and that's the way they make it sound, that it's good people with good credit are subsidizing those with bad credit. Is that what's happening in reality? Is it part of it? Maybe
yes and no.
Yeah.
It's a yes and no. So when they say it's a 1 3/4 fee, what does that correlate to? As far as effective interest rate, it's probably 1/8% in rate. So it's not as drastic as everybody makes it to be.
So this is fees, not necessarily interest rate.
It's not interest rate at all.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, boy, it looks so much like it. Even though it says fee, it's like, wow, it's interest rate.
Yeah, that's why it was
clever.
That's why it was confusing on the news. They kept saying rates fees, but then they would go into talking about the effect on interest rates as if it were correlated.
Yeah, and and here's the thing: if you yesterday and the day before, if you were watching all the Facebook ads, oh my God, everybody and his brother was, making comments, it's now time, you need to do this immediately. Well, yes, we want to get the people off the fence. It's much like, and I hate to go into this, but the California Dream program, where the state of California put in $300 million towards the 20% down payment. Well,
right.
complete misrepresentation by a majority of the loan officers because they weren't telling the consumer exactly what it was. I'm not going to sugarcoat for anybody. I'm not the loan officer for anybody, but I'm a dad. And when I'm talking with young people, I'm going to make sure they fully understand exactly what they're getting, because we all know our business is repeat and referral. I've been in lending for 43 years. I'm going to tell you the truth. You may not want to hear it, but I'm going to deliver what I say. And I'm also going to educate you, because the last thing in the world we want, especially Connor, you know this, we don't want anybody coming back to us and saying, well, you never told me that. And there's people that modify the truth. I'm not going to modify the truth. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah. Love it. That's the way it is. I know we all three of us have a lot in common. We don't like a lot of people in our own industry.
Well, you can't call people liars. So if you say modify the truth, you're politically correct.
Exactly. Yeah, very nice. Modify the truth. Perfect.
Hey, Connor, do you have any?
Really
I know in our notes here we were talking about kind of lending 101, new loan programs. Was there anything else you had for Tim? Because I have some divorce specific questions, something we kind of talked offline about.
Okay. I just had the one thing that I think people listening or kind of want to know, and I'm going to throw it out like everybody gets hit with. What do you think about those interest rates coming up? Do you think this is going to be something that's actually going to come down those 2 points? Remember, they were talking about this real smart guy. He saw the historical record of loan programs and stuff. And he says, well, because this particular scenario is what it is, loan points are probably going to come down, or interest rates come down a couple. Remember all that talk different people had? Do you think that's going to happen over time, or is that just?
We anticipate rates to come down. I listen to on a daily basis Barry Habib with his company, and Barry is,
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. And they, until the word recession is spoken about on a daily basis and acknowledged by the federal government, especially the Treasury Secretary, we're not going to see that. But once it does happen, we're going to see a reduction in interest rates. We have been seeing that right now. We've come down, I would say, about 0.75% in interest rates in the last 3 to 4 weeks. This morning, the mortgage-backed securities were down 10 basis points, which means interest rates are better today than they were yesterday. So it's a daily occurrence. And when Biden announced his bid for re-election, I think it was, everybody was acknowledging that. So that's the geopolitical thing that happens in finance.
Very nice. Tim, you have the ball. Let's listen to some of that divorce talk. I love it.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on, Tim, because we have the clients we handle. A lot of people have homes, obviously, and they want to sometimes keep the home for a variety of reasons, but that can get a little complex because they're going through the process, depending on where they're at in the process, et cetera. But the first thing I wanted to ask you about is, and we were talking about this a little bit offline, is the discussion in regards to the equalization payment in a divorce, using a finance to do that for that buyout. That there's, I wouldn't call it a special program, but I guess reduction interest rates and maybe some other benefits. Could you give us the details on that?
Okay, so this gets back to what I mentioned previously, loan level price adjustments. So in a divorce situation is the same as a settlement of estate. So if a husband and wife are getting divorced, one's buying out the other, and they need cash out to do that, we do not hit them for the loan level price adjustment on that. We consider it as a rate and term refinance. So it gives them the normal interest rate versus a cash out refinance.
And that would be, if I understood you correctly, is that they'll get today's current rate on the full. Is this a refi entirely, or is it a second mortgage?
It's a complete refi, because in a divorce settlement, it's usually written, and you know this better than anybody, Tim, is one of them wants off title. One of them
Correct.
wants off title so they can move forward. So one of the things that I do, and I've been very fortunate, I've been able to work with both parties. And I also make sure that, when I'm working with Mary, Bob's not going to know exactly what Mary's doing, and Mary's not going to know what Bob's doing. We have to make sure that we separate that relationship. And we say, okay, here's what we're doing. Okay. He doesn't really care. He's going to have to quit claim off the property. And it does not have to be done prior to the full settlement of the divorce. It can be done with an executed separation agreement signed off by the courts. So they can do that process prior to the finalization of the divorce.
Makes sense. So the benefit is maybe you could explain that more for me. The rate and term refi, how is that more beneficial? Is the interest rate at current rates versus their old rate? I mean, they still could get a big jump, right? If they're somewhere in the 4% and they're going to end up somewhere in 6+, is that change at all?
It's going to be at whatever the current rate is.
Okay.
So whatever the current rate is, if they were at 3.5, they're going to lose that 3.5.
Okay.
Now, the situation being, let's say they decide that they're going to want to keep that mortgage payment, okay, you would have to have a separation agreement in place. Bob's still going to be on title, even though the property, they may have taken out a second to give the money. But let's say Mary doesn't make the payment. Guess what? Bob's still going to be stuck on that loan. It's going to hit his credit report. So if one of the parties decides not to pay on his bills, or she doesn't want to pay on the mortgage, it's going to affect his credit. So it's always better for them to start fresh, and then we set them up for refinance and just follow our path. Yeah.
Our clients have come up with some creative ideas lately because of this issue. They want to keep the home, but they just can't see, some people have rates in the, mid to high 2s. Correct. And they just don't, they're trying to find any other way to get the money out for the buyout, because it just doesn't make sense to them to, go, double their rate. So they're doing seconds and even deferring, payment or the buyout in the future to maybe wait 2 or 3 years. And like you're saying, hopefully rates come down and then do the refi and do the buyout at a later time. So they're getting very creative in what they're doing in an effort to try and keep the house.
Agreed. They have to, everybody has to look out what's going to be best for their pocketbook. But if it's in a situation where they just hate each other and they want to move forward, one person says, I'm never going to make the payment on the house. Then, you just do what you need to do. But I agree, be creative. And that's, one of the things that's really important is always thinking outside the box.
That's one of the fortunate things is we handle only amicable cases. So both parties are usually in agreement, trying to make things work and up for anything that works, especially when it comes to the kids. If they can make an agreement even to keep the house, even though it's riskier, don't know what's going to happen with rates or home values, but their interest is, keeping the kids in the home and making that work. They're getting pretty creative on what they come up with, which is nice.
It's all about the family, and anything. Sure. I think in lending, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the client. Whatever is best for the client is best for me.
Yeah. And to tag off of that, the other question I had for you was refinance issues in the middle of a divorce or in a divorce process, and maybe things that you see that come up that are issues with people trying to do these buyouts. And I'll give you, for instance, we've had people who, are in the middle of a divorce and they are either purchasing a home or they are going to do the refinance. And on occasion, they'll call me and say, hey, the underwriter or the lender is saying, I need to see your divorce decree because I need to know if you are paying alimony or child support or some other factor that would, inhibit them from qualifying for the loan. And if we're in the middle of the divorce, there obviously is no divorce decree. There isn't anything signed by the parties yet. There isn't a court order to that effect. Are you seeing, like that come up as an issue in people in the middle of the process?
Well, if we have in the separation agreement any acknowledgement of that there's going to be spousal support, then that's going to that's so if the husband is the main breadwinner, and in the separation agreement that is executed by the courts, it mentions that he or she has to pay alimony, it's going to affect their ability to loan because it's a payment. So we have to hit them for the payment.
And we've had cases where there was not going to be any alimony, but their divorce hadn't finalized yet. So it wasn't an official court order. Are you seeing, I know you don't do underwriting, I don't believe, but are you having underwriters come back and saying we need this in a certain stage of the process? Because we've had underwriters tell me, I just need them to sign some agreement that shows that there's not going to be spouse support. All the way to the end of where some underwriters have said, not only do we need to say none and that they signed it, but also needs to be signed by the judge, which obviously in a 6-month, process in California, that they could be several months off from that actually happening.
Until any agreement is fully executed by the courts, you have to have an execution agreement in place. So it has to be signed off by the courts. There's no way around
you would
it.
have that same issue. Yeah.
Yes, everybody would.
Because we had someone call us in not a lot of people do their own thing and not let me know about it, but they'll say, hey, Tim, I put a deposit down on a home and, I need to release my contingencies on the deposit. And now the lender's saying I need the finalized divorce decree. And we're only 3 months into a 6-month process. And I tell them that's not something I can get you, and I'll usually try and talk to the underwriter and see what document they may need other than, as you're saying, an executed, court signed settlement agreement.
Well, again, there's two things. There's a separation agreement versus divorce decree. So if we have an executed separation agreement, we can move forward with that because, again, that's clearly defining what the terms are. Okay. The divorce decree is going to, talk about, custody, dishes, knives, and all the different things, who gets to keep what. But all we really care about is the financial aspect of it.
Yeah, makes sense. That was my questions, Connor.
Oh boy, that's good information, Tim. I have to say you are probably the most transparent lender, not to overuse a word, that I've ever met. And I love your candor. I love the way that you just throw it out there and this is what it is. Eat it if you want it, leave it on the plate if you want. You can even give it away. I really don't care, but you got that mindset and I love that. I love working with you.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody's time. And Tim, great catching up with you again.
Yeah, you as well.
Very good. We look forward to having you. Yeah, and we'll have you on again. Any new programs come out, Tim, let us know. We'd love to have you on for a short one just to talk about what's happened in the lending world. I know it's on everybody's mind, that's for sure. Well,
gentlemen, have an amazing rest of your day.
You as well, brother. We'll recap later. Thanks again.
Yeah, great having you on.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that was awesome, right? Look at that. Yeah. Huh? How fancy.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Good information.
Oh, right. No, you had a lot of good stuff to ask.
Yeah. And as much it changes in the lending, that could be a monthly recurrence, having Tim on and talking about the just the changes that are happening.
Yeah. He's just nice, right? Just nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah.
100%.
I know you're real emotional like that. You like that touchy feely stuff. I know.
For sure.
I know.
For sure.
Out there. Okay. So a lot of people, so Henry Belafonte. He's dead. He's dead. Remember him, Harry Belafonte?
I do not.
Oh, really? What didn't he sing that song from Beetlejuice? Ayo, ayo. Isn't that what Harry? Come on, find the music. Come on, he sang something.
I'm looking right at his face, and no,
he's not coming forward on you.
No.
Maybe you're just
not ringing a bell.
Wow. Yeah. I think he's okay. Anyway. All right. Never mind. We're going to miss you, Harry.
I have some crime stats for us.
Please show me.
Maybe we should start with. Did you see the In-N-Out situation?
Okay, I did, and let's put that up. But I don't understand what the hell could have happened in that drive-through. I don't understand.
My wife had some good questions for us that I think we should go back and forth on to see what is the protection in some of these things. So here it is this weekend in our local In-N-Out.
Okay, which one is this one? This must be Canyon Country.
I think they said it's Stevenson Ranch. Stevenson Ranch drive-through.
Stevenson Ranch. Does it look like that?
Yeah, the one over there off the Lions or what have you.
I guess it does. Yeah, I don't remember that big retaining wall, but that's cool. I just don't remember.
Yeah. So apparently, just to kind of go over what's happening, no one knows what happened preceding this, but the only thing I could guess that would happen would be that they cut each other off trying to get into the drive-through. Because what other conversation can you have with someone? But apparently,
unless maybe they tap the bumper.
Apparently, or that, right? But apparently, what the folks in the white car in front are throwing is bleach onto the vehicle, and there she is beating on the car. Yeah, there she is beating on the car.
There we go. Oh, come on.
Very aggressive.
Yeah.
The comments also say, why did that lady have so much in her car? Any guesses on that?
Yeah, they did have a lot of liquid in her car. Yeah. Oh, and then you got the people helping there. He's helping. That's nice.
So anyway, this goes on and on, and I'll just fast forward a little bit. Goes on for a few minutes. But they just keep getting out of the car over and over again, reinstigating the process. They just can't let it go.
And that's probably completely sober. That's what's really scary.
What's that?
I bet you everybody is completely sober.
Do you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe the bleach bottles.
One of those people were intoxicated at all. I'm really serious. That's what's scary. If they were drunk, you kind of get it. Oh wow, they're just a little sensitive because they're drunk. Yeah. But oh no, I think they were all sober.
Maybe the bleach bottles were open and in the car.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that okay to throw bleach on people? That can't be good.
That was the discussion. So what? We were having the discussion yesterday, and we were both in law enforcement. So in the past, but my wife was like, well, because this is happening more and more in society in our town here in Santa Clarita, and she's asking what should I do if that happened to me? And the only thing I can say is just don't get involved in it to begin with. But if that happens, what are you gonna do? Get out of the car and then get punched in the face?
I would stay in the car and make them come after me. I think because
that's what I said. Lock the door, call 911, get someone out there to stop it from happening, because they're not even prosecuting these things as crimes. So I said, okay, what's the worst thing I think that could be considered? If they threw bleach or some chemical on someone, wasn't there a
ADW?
Yeah. Well,
could you go a deadly weapon?
Caustic chemical,
Bleach is corrosive by nature and can irritate or burn your skin or eyes, as well as particularly sensitive mucous membranes like those inside your mouth, nose, and lungs. I don't know. Sounds like ADW to me.
Yeah.
But I don't even know. Do they arrest people? You're right. That's the good point. I forget. I'm still living on that old time.
Yeah. So it's just who's that guy? I don't know why I can't think of his name right now, but I don't know if you follow him. He's a Navy SEAL guy, wrote a book. I don't know why I can't think of his name. I'm trying to go through my feed here on Facebook, but
David Goggins.
Not him, just the other one that keeps
the white guy.
Yeah, the white guy. You remember it? I don't know why.
Yeah. Hold on. Right here. Jocko.
Yeah, Jocko. So thank you. So he's a big, MMA guy, Navy SEAL. He obviously can handle himself, in good shape and all of that. And someone asked him, "What would you do if someone challenged you to fight?" And he said, "I would turn and run the other way." Yeah. And the answer was shocking to people because obviously he can't handle himself and he wouldn't have any issue in most cases, right? Taking care of business. But he said, look at what, so let's say that happens, and what happens after that. So he says, you're never not going to be injured, right? Something's going to happen, but then the fallout from it. So civil suit and, everything else that comes down after that. And he says, now, if you put your hands on me and you leave me no choice, then obviously I'll take care of business. But I think people were shocked that he said they would just turn, he would turn and run. And, he's being, giving being dramatic about that. But his point is to avoid at all cost, even if you're being challenged.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. We saw, and see, back in the day, I think even when we were growing up, we're, in our 50s here. I think I can speak for myself, at least. I'm not going to lay you out. But, when we were younger, it was, you kind of fought and it was over. There wasn't a lawsuit, or there wasn't nobody was suing anybody, and you just kind of moved on. This is a whole different time. And you were saying the car, your beloved was talking about in the car, get in or get out. I think there's a lot more advantage. Well, if somebody isn't armed, by staying in the car, because if they're going to go all the way and start beating on your car, it's only property.
Right.
They would be doing that to your body. So stay in there. If they break that window, if they break, let's say, the passenger side window, you can move anywhere in the car.
Yeah.
But let's just say they break that window. That's a pretty big advantage, grabbing onto limbs coming into that window as they're trying to grab you. You can force those against all corners of that window.
Yeah.
It throws them off guard. They're less tactically sound coming into the window than you are at risk by staying in the car. And I think you should stay. I think staying in the car is better. I think that anyway.
The question, and the question was, okay, so law enforcement gets like, well, actually, if they were to and see what happened, they'd probably say, hey, this was, you guys are both equally at fault. I mean, obviously it appeared that one was the aggressor over the other, but at the end of the day, they both threw stuff at other cars. And what are they going to do? Take a report saying that each other did the same thing? I said, no one's going to go to jail. That was all emotion.
Mutual combat, right? That's what they say. Mutual combat. Remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
So I think you're probably right. I don't know, but I don't even know how crimes are investigated. We should get a deputy on it, figure how all this works. Do you take people to jail? What if I ran through the mall and snatched somebody's phone off their table and kept running?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Well, it looks different. Hopefully it looks different here in California than it does in Chicago, because you can just can just walk right out of Walmart. They showed people, I should have pulled that up during the week.
Can you find it?
They showed people eating food, just grabbing food off the shelves and eating it right there in Walmart, and then walking out, just go there for a free lunch. They had people just walking out with clothes. If you find the link, send it over and I'll put it up. But did you hear, just keeping up on the crime deal here? So, and this is funny, not funny. There was a drug take back on, I think that was Saturday. Let's say 25th. So yeah, Saturday. So I didn't see this. I saw this after everything came up, but I wanted to give a little help to our local criminals, because what happened was in Saugus, sheriff deputies noticed a guy riding a bike who's breaking the vehicle code, and then saw him drop 2 baggies of fentanyl. I always tease a buddy of mine because he lives in Saugus. I say it's dangerous in Saugus.
Yeah.
But if this person knew about the drug buyback, and if he was going in the correct direction, he could say he was headed here to drop this off, as opposed to, right? The whole, it wasn't mine. No, those aren't my pants. That wasn't my drugs. So, right. I mean, I think that would be a suitable excuse. I was going to take this back to the drug take back process.
Yeah. He could make the case to the watch commander or whatever they call their lead deputy there, see if they'll kick him on that, or if it's a felony. I don't know. Is that much fentanyl a felony?
I would hope so.
So that would be, I don't even.
Who knows?
I would have thought cocaine or meth until I read it.
Well, it might be. They might have been on the fentanyl here with all that went on here.
I don't know. Maybe it makes you want to lay down. I look at those open, I used to tell my kids, don't go anywhere with open-toed
Yeah.
shoes,
Yeah.
please. Because what if you get in a fight? You know what they used to say? Dad, people don't fight like that anymore. Thinking, God, open-toed shoes. I mean, what a great target. You got it.
Yeah.
They're aggressive. They don't have shoes on. Oh, I'm going for those toes.
Go for the toe smash.
Oh yeah, you got it. Because I mean, that one girl gets on that curb right there, and that
Yeah.
lady's outside the car. I mean, they both back down quick. I think the one
Yeah.
on the curb was more aggressive, but her toes are right
Yeah.
there. And as the driver of that Subaru, boy, just a little, that one right there with the red hair, just a little stomp.
I'll keep that in
But
mind if we ever get into a scuffle. You're going for
yeah,
the toes.
yeah. We wait. Yeah,
Going for the
if
toes.
you don't have shoes on, we're gonna
Yeah,
have this. Going to be a bad day for you. I'll tell you.
for sure. Yeah, but going
Very
back
good.
to
I love it.
I don't know if it was Chicago or San Francisco or one of these areas
Well,
that
San
they're
Francisco is that's a very common thing. I'm trying to look up
yeah.
Chicago. I have eating free at Walmart in Chicago, 9.6 million views.
Yeah.
That's a TikTok search.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what that looks like. Blaming Walmart for closing their doors.
Oh, you know what I wanted to show you? God, I was looking this up too. There's a store, it was like a Rite Aid. You just see, this is how bad it's getting. And I feel like why is it on there? I feel like I don't know if people watch as much news as I do, but I want to see if I can pull this up. There was a great video on the news where I want to say it was Rite Aid, but they had, imagine you've seen like a Walmart where it's the items are like there's certain cases that are locked up, maybe the makeup or I don't know, baby formula or something like that.
Oh yeah, right. The
this
protective cases where the dandruff shampoo is.
Exactly. If that's what you're in need for.
Throwing it
Yeah.
out there. Yeah. I like to buy a lot of dandruff shampoo.
Imagine that throughout the entire store, every row, everything completely locked up.
Oh yeah, that would be. I guess that would do it.
In glass. In
Right.
glass. I mean, so you couldn't. It wasn't just like it was like Home Depot. You had to call someone over and say, "Hey, can you put that?" And they probably don't even allow you to walk away with it. Have you ever gone to Ralph's and you want to buy? So they have some of the alcohol,
fancy liquor in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you go there and they will walk you. Say they'll take it to the front and they'll, so everyone gets treated like a common criminal when you want.
Yeah, yeah. They don't let you touch it. Yeah.
Yeah, that because everything's locked up. But yeah, this store, and I don't know why I can't find it, but it was so fascinating. Every row, everything was behind glass, and everything had to be opened by an employee before you could even. And then what? They're not going to have you take it out and then put in your cart. What are they going to? Everything you buy, they're going to walk up to the front.
Yeah, I don't. It's sad that that's where this is going.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's gonna. It's a very small percentage though, still, but they're causing that small percentage is taking full advantage of the judicial process, understanding that they're not going to be held liable for things that happen.
Yeah, when I saw that video, it was just
God,
it was surreal.
I want to see it.
Like
so every item
was
they
behind
would
glass.
have to. Yeah, so they would have to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some price that'll be a nice little price increase for everything retail.
Right. Yeah,
I'm
I'm not able to find it here.
I'm trying to find it too. I'm not saying anything great. Hey, if anybody watching the YouTube thing, throw it into the chat. There's that. Huh?
Yeah, help us out. Good? Help us out with our show.
Yeah, help us out. Find us something.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I'm searching Rite Aid, but it might have been Walgreens or.
Because you saw those folks in at the different pharmacies up there in San Francisco, like the CVS and the Walgreens. In San Francisco, they just go in and they just take stuff and leave, and nobody can stop them. Then I had a buddy of mine that's in private security out here working for, I don't know if he's, how the captains and commanders and folks have those security companies they put together. So he's working with one of these cats, and I forgot the guy's name. But, he goes into the South End, different parts of Los Angeles, and he's not uniformed. He's store security for $30 or $40 an hour, whatever it is. And he confronts these people that come in, they'll come in and they'll take like an entire tray of makeup. Or he said the other day he had somebody come into the store. I don't know, it's like Adams and Crenshaw or somewhere kind of in that area. He had somebody come into the store while he was there, and they emptied out a box that was holding something else, and they went over to the makeup aisle with that box and filled it up and started heading to the door. And I said, "What'd you do?" He said, "I told them to drop the box, and they told me to F off. We're going to kill you. We're going to kill you when you get off work." It's like, what? I'm going to go get my buddies. We're going to come back and kill you if you try to, it's like, what is that? What does that mean?
They just take it to the extreme.
Yeah. So for $40 an hour, let's see, I'm going to die protecting, what's that stuff? LambCon? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. I mean, I like me some LambCon makeup, but I don't know.
But that's what they're counting on, right? Not doing something due to threats, or I mean, even if, because why do something? Why take some action? Because it's just, I think it's in our blood that we'd want to step in, but for what purpose? You get into
what can you do?
Then for what reason?
Did he grab them? I don't know. Can a security
right now who's in the wrong there? Exactly,
because they're not outside yet. Oh, it's a whole game. I found the eating free in Walmart. Oh yeah.
I know you probably won't be able to hear it, but I'm just a ghetto nigga like you. I'm just a ghetto nigga like you. So just a ghetto nigga like you.
I can hardly make out the music. I'm not sure what it's saying.
They're not saying anything. But
the song,
presumably they didn't pay for that. I think that was the
they just went in there and started eating.
Yeah, they just eat and walk out, go for lunch. It's just amazing. There's a whole string of that on the news over the weekend. They kind of put everything together with all the people walking out of stores, eating inside of Walmart and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that one girl at the one girl in the beginning didn't find the napkin aisle. She should have gotten to the napkin aisle. She had a lot of stuff on her face.
So Andrea says that's a real thing. She commented on our video. She's seen that.
Oh, nice.
She says, seen it. Been there, done that, seen it. So yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah. Thanks for commenting, Andrea, and tuning in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let us know, what were they eating? They go for the sandwiches, or
I'm going cookie? Moon pie. It looked like a moon pie. I don't know that residual face crumbs, because I've eaten plenty of moon pies in my day.
So she says they put the wrappers back in the aisle. Well, that's nice.
Oh, yeah.
They're saying throw it on the floor, I suppose.
You know what really bothers me? When you go to the supermarket, you pick something up, like my kids, they pick something up, and then we'd get to like the register, and then they say, you know what? I don't want this anymore. And then they put it down right there. I said, what are you doing? Go put it down where you got it.
Yeah.
Go put it back. So at least they're doing that with the wrappers, right? That makes me feel better.
So how, back in the day when we were cops, so you brought up, it's not theft until you walk out the door, right?
Right.
You could stuff your pants full of merchandise and walk around the store, and there's nothing anyone could do about it. It's until you breach the door, then that's when the theft occurs, right?
Yeah, that's when they realize you're stealing.
So at what point does it become theft? When you've eaten the food, didn't take the wrapper, it's in your belly, and then you walk out.
Wow. Yeah, right? You're still in the store.
Just trying to think that through. Where's the proof? Where's the item? Sad.
Prove it.
It's sad.
That's a good point. Yeah, that could get very deep. That's great. That's really fun.
I always tell Ellie every time we see this, we're like, that's it. We're moving to, Idaho, Tennessee, Florida, Texas,
right?
You name it. But I don't know. I still love our Santa Clarita.
God, I really, you know what? Everybody else is leaving. I'm pretty good here. I actually like it. I'm the same.
It's fine. I think you just don't go to the stores. You just don't go out.
Order in
your house.
Yeah. Be a shut-in. Yeah, that's it. That's all you need.
No, I think our local sheriffs, they take care of business. They always have.
Yeah, and I've never felt threatened out here at all
No.
by anybody anywhere. But I also mind my own business too. I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not out there to save lives really at this point, except I'm not really. That's not our job anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So Biden,
Very good.
at the young age of 80, has announced his intention to stay the president. Did that yesterday. I don't know if you caught that.
Boy. Yeah, I heard that. I think it was a little bit late yesterday. I heard that on KFI maybe.
Yeah,
I
it was
actually
later in
listened
the
to a
day.
regular radio. Yeah.
What do you think about that? 80 years old.
I don't know. I don't know if he has real problems with recall and his mental acuity.
Yeah.
It could appear that way, but we're getting sound bites and snippets and they're being
Sure.
played thousands of times. And by the time you watch one thing being repeated so many times, you start to believe that, wow, maybe this person has a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. Politics aside, if he's healthy, then I guess he should be able to do what he wants.
My
If
problem
he's a
is
detriment to us,
he
then
walks
what's that?
like you and I do after leg day all the time.
yeah, he's probably a little sore
All the time.
all the time. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that is a problem. I'm going to start watching more. Yeah, you think him falling? If I would have fallen off that bicycle like he did, I probably would have been out for a month. So he might be doing okay.
Yeah, that's no
Remember
joke.
that?
Yeah.
I don't think I would have recovered. He got up like it was nothing.
Well, to his defense, they did put him in those clip-in shoes. You ever
Oh, they're horrible.
it's like being in snow ski shoes.
All locked in, not a place to go.
Yeah,
no, I've
exactly.
I've seen those. Do you twist out on the
I
bikes? You twist out, or you? I think it's a twist.
I think it's
But
similar
no, you're
to those.
trapped.
I think it's similar to those safety gun holsters where you push down, pull back, and then up. Remember those safety gun holsters?
The Safariland SS3 Super Security Holster. Yeah, they were great. Yeah, they were lacking was a combination of maybe
Seriously.
voice print and a retinal scan.
Seriously.
That would have finally. Oh, they came out with a gun. Did you see that? That has a the grip itself has an identifying property to only be able to be used by the person that owns the gun.
Oh, really?
This is this came out. Let me see. I'll see if I can stick it in the show notes.
Yeah.
This was very recent. Let's see.
You're talking about like a biometric handgun?
Yeah, that's what they did. They did it.
Well, it works
But
when opening up the those gun lockers that are thumbprint, right? Fingerprint biometric. Yeah.
There was one, and I guess they kind of did it, but the gun itself looked kind of, I don't know, looked a little beefy.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to see where they did it. Smart gun technology. That's what they call it.
Hmm.
But this was something that popped up the other day that I thought it was kind of weird because I hadn't seen anything that had been talking about it. And then this one popped up in the feed, and they had taken, here it is, Washington Post. No, that wasn't recent. Maybe it just popped up in my feed. February 13th, Smart Guns, Everytown Research. But yeah, they sell them. I mean, you can buy them. I'm not sure how they work, but you can see it, some biometric scanner.
Yeah.
They have a thumbprint. So a lot of these things have and that's the thing, you want to be careful of your firearms. If you're going to, be responsible, don't leave them around. And if you're going to leave them around, if they're not on you and you're not armed, however you work out that legal thing, make sure that there's trigger locks on them or they're in a safe. And a lot of this is about trigger locks, but this one, the one I saw was actually did some kind of a scanning of the palm, but it might have just been a fingerprint reader. So I know CNN's coming out with stuff like that, or on there they have the articles.
Who do we have coming on next week, Connor?
Oh, you know what? That's going to be awesome. We should have the owner of Sabor. the local Mexican restaurant here, Mark.
You know, if we didn't do this show at 8 a.m., I'd say we could at least have a couple margaritas while we're doing. Maybe we could do it live on location at the bar.
Oh, at the bar, huh? And have him there.
Sure.
Oh, let's work on that, my friend. I'll work on that till next week. I think that might be fun.
I don't know
Very
how we
good,
pull
my
that
brother.
off. I hope they have good internet.
Oh, it should be. Yeah,
over there.
that's true. We need a wide bandwidth, but maybe we can get access to his Wi-Fi.
Sounds
Very
good.
good, my
I
brother.
did
It
not
was a
have.
good show.
What's that?
It was a good show, my friend.
Yeah, for
You were
sure.
going to say you haven't had what?
I don't remember.
Margarita in a long
I,
time?
I think I was going to say I don't think I could do a margarita in the morning.
Oh, sure you could. Come on.
Mimosa,
Well,
sure.
Whatever. Just do
Yeah,
mimosa,
mimosa.
then. Put
Yeah.
tequila in it. Mimosa, tequila. Fine. Very
Well, yeah, I
good.
look forward to talking to
Mark.
what's that?
Mark.
Is it Mark? Yeah.
Yeah, Mark.
I think
It'll be
right now
good, yeah.
Sabor is my favorite restaurant. Maybe we can get some coupons.
Yep, couldn't hurt. We'll definitely have him on and talk about his dreams and life and why his food's so wonderful.
And dangerously, that's within biking distance on the Paseos for us.
Yeah, you don't even have to see a city street or people
No.
to get there.
No,
Perfect.
but you do have to drive by a church prior to drinking.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Lord. Please watch over me today.
All right, Connor. Good talking to you. Good show. We'll talk to you
You as
next
well, my
Tuesday.
friend.
If you're interested in being on the show, you can let us know. Be happy to have you on. Local business owners or whatever you would like to talk about, we'll bring you on and talk about the news.
We'll love it, folks. Please tune in, share with a friend, and hit that subscribe button and that bell for notifications. New show. Thank you very much. Love you all. Mean it. See you, Tim.
See you later, Connor. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, brother. Bye-bye.